You know, there's one question that's probably bigger than all the others. It's a question that echoes through all of human history, through every philosophy, and probably through our own quiet moments too. And that question is simply, why are we here?
And look, this isn't some abstract academic thought exercise, right? It's a question that really hits home. It pops up when we lose someone we love, or maybe when we finally get that thing we've been chasing and realize it feels kind of empty. Or sometimes it just shows up out of nowhere when we're sitting in total silence. It's a completely universal human thing. So for the next few minutes, what we're going to do is dive into this incredible sort of imagined conversation between some of the greatest minds in history. And you really don't have to believe in any one thing to come along for the ride. Nope, all you need is just a little bit of curiosity. All right, first up, a life that matters. Let's really dig into why this one single, pretty short life feels so incredibly important. I mean, if our existence is supposed to be this huge, vast thing, why does this little chapter matter so dang much? So what exactly is this whole experience we're in? Is it like a test where we're being graded? Or is it a classroom where we're supposed to learn some specific lesson? Or is it maybe something more like a creative experiment? Let's check in with our panel of thinkers and see what they have to say. Okay, wow, just look at how wildly different these perspectives are. You've got Plato, who says we're here to remember a truth that's already deep inside our souls. Then there's Viktor Frankl, who's like, no, we're here to create meaning through our choices and responsibilities. Yogananda sees it all as this beautiful, divine playground for us to discover who we really are. And then you have a really modern take from Basher, who calls it a frequency exploration chamber, a place to try on different states of being. So are we here to remember, create, play, or explore? It's an absolutely fascinating range of possibilities.
But okay, this brings up a really big question, right? If our existence is this timeless, maybe even eternal thing, then why is there so much pressure crammed into just these few short decades? Why does this one physical life feel so intense and so important?
And Viktor Frankl's take on this is just brilliant. He says it's because our choices here in this life, they're permanent. You can't hit undo. You can't take them back. We have to make these decisions under pressure, with uncertainty, with all kinds of limitations. And it's that very friction, that finality, that's what forges real meaning. Okay, so if life is this meaningful forge, that brings us to the next logical question, doesn't it? Why does it so often have to be so hard? Why is Earth's classroom so intense?
It's interesting because you see this idea pop up in so many different traditions all over the world. The idea that Earth, it isn't just a regular school. It's more like the advanced honors level course. It's a place that's dense, that's full of resistance. It's basically a spiritual pressure cooker, and it's designed specifically to speed up our growth.
And this leads us to a really tough question. I mean, this is one that I think we all wrestle with. Is all this pain, all this suffering, is it actually a necessary part of the curriculum? Is it a feature of the system and not some terrible bug?
So here we get two really different takes on this. On one hand, you have someone like Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who spent her life working with people who were dying. And she says, look, pain itself isn't the teacher. Our response to the pain is. Because, let's face it, tons of people suffer and they don't learn a thing. But then you have Gurdjieff, who comes in with a much harder line. He basically says that without the shock of suffering, we'd all just stay on autopilot forever. It's the jolt we need to actually wake up.
But then a third perspective comes in and kind of ties these two ideas together in a really elegant way. It suggests that maybe the system isn't designed for suffering at all. It's designed for resistance, like friction. And suffering? Well, suffering is what we experience when we misunderstand that resistance. We think it's punishment, when it's actually just feedback, trying to guide us. So you might be thinking, why on earth would anyone choose to come to such an intense place? Well, the key idea here is one word: acceleration. The thinking is that the challenges and the density here on Earth literally compress time. The kind of growth you can experience in a single lifetime here, it might take eons in other, easier places. So yeah, it's a total high-risk, high-reward kind of deal. Okay, which brings us to what might just be the weirdest, most confusing part of this whole setup. If we actually choose to be here for all this high-speed growth, why do we show up with a total case of amnesia?
I mean, it's a huge puzzle, isn't it? If we supposedly laid out our own challenges, our relationships, the big lessons we wanted to learn, why would the number one rule be, okay, now forget all of that? It seems like this forgetting is the source of so much pain and confusion. There's got to be a good reason for it.
And it turns out, the arguments for why we have to forget are actually pretty compelling. Plato's idea is that we forget, so we have to earn wisdom. You can't just be given it. Jung says that if we knew our destiny, our choices wouldn't be real. We'd just be actors reading lines. The entity Seth suggests that we actually wanted the surprise. We wanted to find out who we'd be without a script. And Swedenborg makes the point that true goodness has to be chosen freely, not because we remember some cosmic homework assignment.
And this really gets to the heart of it. True free will. It seems to require uncertainty. If we knew for sure how things were going to turn out, our actions would just be instinct, almost like we're programmed. So, our amnesia, this forgetting, isn't a bug. It's the very thing that makes our choices, our virtues, our love, authentic.
All right, let's shift gears and head into our final section. Let's see where this is all going. If we manage to get through this intense, crazy classroom where we can't remember why we enrolled, what comes next? What is all this training actually for? Well, the consensus among all these different thinkers is pretty clear on one thing. Earth is not the final destination. It's not our forever home. It's not even the main event. It's a forge. You know, a place where metal is heated and hammered and shaped. We are being prepared for a completely different kind of existence. And this gives us a really cool way to think about graduating from Earth. It's not about becoming perfect or sinless or anything like that. It's simply about getting to a point where the lessons of this place, they just don't teach you anything new anymore. You've answered the questions for yourself, you've completed the course, and now it's time to sign up for the next one. So what is that next course? Well, the model that a lot of these thinkers point to is basically a two-step process. Step one, that's here, on Earth. This is where we learn how to make good, compassionate, meaningful choices under extreme pressure. Step two is somewhere else, and that's where we take all these hard-won skills and actually start using them to shape and create new realities. And this right here is the big takeaway. The whole point of this intense, sometimes brutal, often beautiful life, it isn't to earn some kind of eternal vacation in paradise. No, it's to prepare us for more responsibility. It's training for active, creative participation in the entire cosmos. So in the end, we're not left with some neat and tidy answer, are we? We're left with a shift in perspective, a new way of looking at it. What if the whole point of asking, why are we here, isn't to find some belief you can lock down and hold on to forever? What if the question itself is actually a tool designed to do just one thing, to call for our full, conscious, and compassionate presence, right here in this moment? Maybe, just maybe, living with that presence is the answer